If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. Aaron Rodgers has done it again. Just when the football world thought it had seen every twist, every turn, and every unexpected headline possible, the legendary quarterback finds a way to steal the spotlight like only he can. In what many are calling a betrayal of historic proportions, Rodgers has reportedly decided to leave the New York Jets. Yes, the team that moved heaven and earth just to bring him on board, and instead has signed with the Cleveland Browns. That's right, the same Aaron Rodgers who was supposed to lead the Jets to their long-awaited Super Bowl glory has stunned fans, analysts, and maybe even his former teammates by jumping ship to Cleveland. The move wasn't just unexpected, it was unfathomable. But as with everything involving Rodgers, there's more than meets the eye. This isn't just a change of jersey. It's a shockwave through the very soul of the NFL. Rodgers had barely played a full snap for the Jets due to that catastrophic Achilles injury just 4 plays into his debut. But even while sidelined, he remained the face of the franchise. His return in 2025 was supposed to be the Jets' redemption arc. The media buildup, the locker room anticipation, the strategic adjustments, it was all pointing toward Rodgers finally delivering the promise he made when he arrived in New York, to bring a Lombardi trophy to Gang Green for the first time since 1969. So when news broke that he had walked away from all of it and agreed to terms with the Cleveland Browns, fans were left speechless. Jets Nation didn't just feel disappointed, they felt betrayed. And who could blame them? One of the most iconic quarterbacks in NFL history just abandoned a team, a city, and a mission that were built entirely around him. And let's talk about Cleveland for a second. The Browns have been a punchline in the NFL for decades, struggling with instability, coaching turnovers, and quarterback disasters year after year. But things have started to change. The roster is stacked with talent on both sides of the ball. And a defense anchored by Myles Garrett is arguably the best in the league. The offensive line is solid. And now, with Rodgers at the helm, the Browns are suddenly a very real Super Bowl contender. The deal reportedly includes a massive guaranteed payout, full control over offensive play calling, and get this, a clause that allows Rodgers input on future front office decisions. It's a king's ransom. And for a quarterback of Rodgers' caliber, it might be exactly what he was waiting for. It's not just about football, it's about legacy, leverage, and leaving on his own terms. Rodgers' decision also raises serious questions about the inner workings of the Jets organization. What happened behind closed doors? Was there tension between Rodgers and head coach Robert Saleh? Did GM Joe Douglas fail to deliver on personnel promises? Some insiders suggest Rodgers was frustrated with the team's lack of offensive upgrades and internal communication issues. Others say he felt disrespected during his rehab process, as the team began exploring other quarterback options behind his back. Whatever the truth is, it's clear something broke between Rodgers and the Jets. And it broke fast. In a league where loyalty is fleeting and narratives shift by the minute, Rodgers once again reminded us that no one plays the game, on or off the field, quite like he does. The fallout in New York has been nuclear. Fans flooded social media with heartbreak, anger, and pure disbelief. Season ticket holders are demanding refunds. Jets players, some of whom signed specifically to play alongside Rodgers, are now left in limbo. Even the locker room morale seems shaken. The front office, blindsided and scrambling, issued a brief and vague statement thanking Rodgers for his leadership and contributions. A far cry from the hero's farewell many envisioned just months ago. Some sports talk radio hosts are calling it the Rodgers Rapture. Others say it's the most stunning free agency move since LeBron's decision. Either way, the Jets are now in full-blown crisis mode with no clear path forward and one massive Aaron Rodgers-shaped hole at quarterback. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, it's a different story. Browns fans, long used to heartbreak and disappointment, are daring to believe. The energy in the city is electric. Jerseys are flying off the shelves. Local bars are offering Rodgers-themed cocktails. One bar even renamed itself the Frozen Tundra in honor of the future Hall of Famer. And it's not just hype. The excitement is justified. Pairing Rodgers with wideouts like Amari Cooper and David Njoku behind a sturdy line and complemented by a dynamic running game creates a recipe for fireworks. Add in a top-tier defense, and suddenly, the Browns aren't just playoff hopefuls. They're potential favorites. It's the kind of twist that changes the entire narrative of an NFL season and possibly the league for years to come. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. But what does this mean for Rodgers' legacy? For over a decade, he was the heart and soul of Green Bay, a Super Bowl champion, a 4-time MVP, and one of the most gifted passers the league has ever seen. His move to New York was seen as a final chapter, a chance to elevate a struggling franchise to immortality. That dream, though, is now over. Instead, he's opted for a completely different ending, one filled with risk, reinvention, and possibly redemption. If Rodgers can bring a Super Bowl to Cleveland, a franchise starved for success, his place in football history will be bulletproof. It would be a legacy-defining move, the ultimate middle finger to doubters, critics, and anyone who thought he was done. For Rodgers, it's not just about football anymore. It's about myth-making. The NFL schedule makers are undoubtedly salivating at the drama this creates. Jets versus Browns just became must-see television. The storylines write themselves. Betrayal, revenge, and legacy all playing out on prime time. Rodgers returning to MetLife in a Browns jersey would be cinematic. The boos, the signs, the intensity, it would be like a Shakespearean tragedy set on a football field. And let's not forget the pressure. If Rodgers falters in Cleveland, the critics will be relentless. If the Jets crash without him, the front office will be blamed for mismanaging one of the biggest stars in NFL history. Every snap, every throw, every headline from now on will be magnified. Rodgers didn't just change teams, he lit the fuse on what might be the most explosive season the league has ever seen. Even beyond the field, this move speaks volumes about the modern NFL landscape. Player empowerment is at an all-time high. Star athletes are no longer just employees. They're influencers, brand ambassadors, and power brokers. Rodgers, always a step ahead when it comes to narrative control, is leveraging every ounce of his stardom. He's sending a message. He plays where he wants, when he wants, and how he wants. And love him or hate him, you have to respect the audacity. This wasn't a random team switch. It was a calculated high-stakes chess move, one that reshapes teams, rivalries, and perhaps the entire balance of power in the AFC. And as always with Rodgers, you can bet it won't be the last plot twist. In the end, one thing is clear, Aaron Rodgers may have just pulled off the most shocking move of his storied career. By walking away from the Jets and joining the Browns, he's not just changing jerseys, he's rewriting the script. Whether it ends in triumph or disaster, no one can deny the magnitude of what just happened. It's the kind of moment fans will talk about for decades. A decision that could go down as either the ultimate betrayal or the boldest masterstroke in NFL history. But knowing Rodgers, that's exactly how he wants it. Because in his world, the headlines are never big enough, the stakes are never too high, and the spotlight never fades. Buckle up, this is just the beginning. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!